Good evening, guys. Ken at Tortoise Capital, nightly strategy podcast for uh, February 5th, 2025. We got some goodies today. Here's one on Big Bear, the sniper trade of the day that was just massively good. Now, we've got a longer term swing trade in on this one from around $2 a share. It's part of our AI story stock play. And that swing trade has been working pretty nicely. Like it closed yesterday at 5. And then there was an announcement on a very nice DoD Department of Defense support contract for their AI protection services. And that caused about a 15 to 20% gap up here. And that gave us a chance for a turbo trade. So the blue box is your opening range 3. That's your 3-minute chart. So that first bar establishes that boundary of the 3 minutes. So then it mucks around a little bit. You can see the VWAP beginning to emerge. When it breaks out from the opening range 3, about 15 minutes later, that allows us to get the first directional signal. So we're long at about 5.80 with a pretty tight stop. This is about a 20-cent stop. The stop is on the other side of the VWAP, right? So as long as it stays north of the VWAP, we're happy with this thing. And we're going to use the Bollinger Band mean 30 as a generic trailing stop. So it moves out, pause, resumes. This is an emerging dragon, second position. We've got about 3R in hand. So we add one, a nice little pause, a new emerging dragon, add a third position, pull back, or resume, pause, pull back. I get the fourth position in on a emerging dragon. And by that time, we get the peak. And with 4 positions in, this time when it breaks through the PSAR and is approaching the Bollinger Band mean, that feels like enough. So that gives us something like, let's see here. So the first position is about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7R. So that one's worth 7. This one is worth 1, 2, 3, 4. This one's worth 3. And let's call that one a scratch. So that gives us about 14R on the turbo. Remember, the swing trade from 2 is still working nicely. So that's about 14R. The pullback comes all the way to here, holds support above the VWAP. You get a nice bottoming out of the RL10, a pause, and now you have our Kata 2 pattern, and it crosses the VWAP, or the PSAR. So that's a re-entry, single position, and routine exit as it's getting near the end of the day. But that picks up another 2. And then after this pullback, which held above the VWAP, I said, you know what? We're up 16R on this thing. Let me just take one of those R's and put that in here, and I'm going to have a double wide stop. And I'm just going to carry that one overnight, hoping to see a gap up and go, and looking for a favorable gap. So I'm ready to put one of those 16 R's back to work and essentially just add that to the swing trade, which is deep in the money as well. So what I'm going to do is for the swing trade, I'm going to find the highest high while in the trade, 750. And if our average entry is down from around 2, that's plus $5.5 per share. I'm going to take 70% of that and decide to keep it. So I'm going to that's about $4. So that means I'm going to keep 4, and I'm going to have as open $1.50. That means from 750, that long-term stop for the swing has to be at 6, which you'll see is a nice, everything south of that is my money. And so that means all the gap is my money, and I'm giving it this much room to find support and resume. And I look to add as soon as it breaks above 750. That order is already in. If it gaps up above 750, I'm just going to execute that order no matter what price. And that'll be a storage stock for tomorrow, high priority. Let's see what else we got here. There was a question about we haven't been hitting the daily podcast uploaded. Part of that is the success of our coaching program. You'll see that all of these here over the last week or so in January, we've been doing daily podcasts, but they're all unlisted because they're part of the coaching program, cohort 1, 4, 2, and 3. That's become so successful. That's where we work the details on things like the Palantir trade, that using the double leverage ETF yesterday was up 50%. And then today is Big Bear. So we've been doing pretty well with the AI story stocks with the start of the Trump administration. And to be honest, my priority is to get the coaching cohorts absolutely squared away. And so the other thing is, if the foundations traders aren't posting charts in the chat room, then it's not as interesting to me to do the daily, because I use their charts in order to give them daily feedback. So if they're not posting charts, you don't get the free feedback. So if the coaching program's not for you, but you want to get daily feedback, you can become a subscriber and post your charts in the chat room, and you'll get free coaching feedback from me on the chart itself. In the coaching program, we're coaching systems, self psychology, and market classification. And we've just been really busy. Now, the thing you'll notice is that all of these are really long-term coaching sessions, 70 minutes, 40 minutes, 60 minutes, 2 hours, couple hours there. So we're really going in depth in the coaching program. That's the best value. If you want to do the active coaching, that's one price. If you want to just do the over-the-shoulder coaching, where you're kind of a passive witness, you get access to all of the coaching cohort videos for life. That's a pretty good deal. So anyway, that helps explain some of the maybe the infrequency with the dailies. So I wanted to share that with you. This was yesterday's trade in Palantir. You can see that this is a case where we had the just like Big Bear. We had the initial breakouts on the swings, and we're adding at logical places on the swing, and then had the explosive run up. This one reflects from an entry here and then the peak there. We wanted to keep 70%. So one of the things, I took the exit yesterday here because they had 4 positions in, and the dollar value was just, dude, you got to cash that and keep 80% of an amazing win. That's almost 30R. And then yesterday, 2 days ago, I should say, we got the reversal for the one position back in when it broke above the Bollinger Band 30. Second position, nice in the money. It was testing the previous high. And then we got the nice earnings news, and it blew out up to here. So that's the case where on this trade that entered here with a high there, I'm keeping 70%. So my stop is at about 96 on Palantir. Okay. And you can see the intraday trade. That's what we just did on Big Bear. So we've got a couple other that are story stocks like that are still cooking, that haven't had the explosive breakout yet. So we're also tracking symbol UMAC. That's the one where Don Jr. is on the board, and it's in the drone business. So that's still cooking. and we'll be ready for it to make that kind of explosive move. We're working in our AI 2025 project on identifying some deep, subtle conditions that suggest our story stocks are more likely than not to have the bigger moves. So we're briefing that work in the coaching program as well as part of our coaching and AI series. Okay. Let's take a look at see Constantine. He's our prop trader. He's trading a couple $1,000,000 in a prop account using our standard patterns. So he's trading other people's money. This is when he's trading the NASDAQ futures 3-minute time frame. He's identified the tight sideways quiet channel. That's his breakdown point. So he gets short here with a stop here, and that thing collapses. I've been coaching him that when he sees that support level from earlier break, this is where he could be adding a second position, and that second leg pays off, and he actually exits when this reverses. So we might have been able to get a second position on there. And you can see that how the MACD histogram alerts you to the easy first leg. And then when that re-enters the Red River, you got to be prepared for chop. And he was fortunate enough to get that extra move down, but that's why he respects that stop. And then you see that directional move has all changed, and that causes the MACD to recover. So that little window is an ideal time to catch the surprise gangster move to the downside. Here's the second one, different time of day, MNQ, also 3-minute time frame, and he gets that breakdown out of that channel, and he gets another move, and then he gets the exit around in here for another 2.8 hours. So nice work all the way around. Let's get over to the back to the daily. Looking at the 150-day look back, you see the anchored VWAP for the 150 is rising, giving it upward pressure. You can see today's little trade range in the yellow. This is the peak, and the bottom, that's the channel we're using a rule of 4 with. That allowed us to get an entry over here and then cash. So we're just in the middle of that 30-day trading range now. This is the last 30 days, and you can see we're right in the middle. Today was a 1 day down in recovery. Today was a second day up. So that's going to be an automatic entry on a 1, 2, 3 entry. If it breaks above 601.78 tomorrow in the S&P, we would add a second position if it breaks out above the all-time high up in here. So everything's looking good. Today was a second day of stability and gains. That was yesterday's gap down and reverse hard. This was a continuation slightly to the upside. You can see the 3, 5, and 10 anchored VWAPs are in here. So this is all fair value. So a breakout would indicate new buying energy to take it up to the previous high, which is up in here. So that's all favorable. Bullish normal still mostly overbought. Risk Z is very favorable, so you got to be playing the long side. There's a lot of good American companies here, and the minimum paying leading the way. Johnson & Johnson, Walmart especially good. JP Morgan, Nucor Steel, and then Cisco, old school tech, whereas some of the new school tech has been suffering a little bit, NVIDIA and Intel. Nothing new in the holding X-day periods that were favorable for the last 1 day, 5 days, and pretty quiet market really going all the way back 40 days. So this is the absence of fear. So we like the upside in that condition. A couple big breakouts here in Cisco, Johnson & Johnson. Walmart continues. Big up move in gold, little one in treasuries, some defensive plays. A handful of good symbols on the Autoframer. This is your your long-term Autoframer here. Sorry. These are all the ones that test out better than 2-to-1. Buyer's market in here. This is all your pricing data for setting up mechanical day trades. That's in the foundations course, easily mastered, and that does all the math for you. These are the ones that, if they're highlighted over here, they're better than 2-to-1. But these are the ones that shows you that are tightly squeezed. So if it breaks out of yesterday's range, then that's what it could move in one day on a range stat, and that's what gives you the favored ratio. So we should be looking tomorrow at Microsoft, ExxonMobil, JP Morgan, Chevron, Johnson and Johnson, oil, Tesla, and energy. So the energy sector has been tightly squeezed and ready to pop. We looked at the crude oil reference trade in the coaching session from tonight, and that sets up a very favorable rebound off 10-day low. She'll be ready for that one. This is your TC 2000 sniper with the reward to risk ratios, and again, all of the framing data available. The market itself is only at about 1.1-to-1. Summer and fall dominating in the MACD. Just risk Z, or I'm sorry, the NDX showing lots of good strength all over the board. The winners are these old school guys: Walmart, U.S. Steel, Johnson and Johnson, Nucor. Same thing over here: gold, and now the defensive plays: gold, treasuries, finance, looking pretty good. Everything except tech. So that says there's a tech upward burst building. Don't know when it's going to happen, but it's like a microwave popcorn. It's been in there cooking for 40 seconds. Pretty soon it's going to get ready to go. Quick look at just some market mosaic stuff here. Upward curling parabolic regression line is good. It has bottomed out. It's right in the middle of the yellow river here for the RL30. That's favorable. That's good, meaning it has recovered, but there's still room for it to go to the upside. And yeah, that's the 30 has recovered back into that kind of yellow zone looking. And the 90 is pulled back from extremes and is looking favorable. And the 10 has bottomed out, is ready to rock. So this is actually really good posture for a nice move the next couple of days. And the fact that it has failed to fail and is riding the upper skin of the river is a very favorable thing. So that's everything for today. We'll get it published, posted. See you tomorrow. And I'll get this on the channel here shortly. Take good care.